CBA is offshoring 100 jobs because of a worker shortage. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at an article which is discussing how CBA is sending 100 jobs offshore to India because apparently there's a worker shortage here in Australia. What do you reckon, everyone? Let's start by having a quick look at the CBA share price. We can see it's at $102.50, and they just announced a record profit. Now, why are they sending jobs offshore? This is interesting for a variety of reasons. More and more people are discussing, the concept of working from home. That's meant to be the push. Go work from home. I love working from home, but I've got my own business, so it's a little different. Whereas if you're for a large corporate, if you can work from home, that means someone in another country can also work from their home, but at a much cheaper rate. Really, the only difference then is the English skills and some local knowledge, which people can adapt to. And a lot of people, frankly, have bullshit jobs which don't really amount to much, which could probably be done by anyone anywhere in the world. You know what I mean, paper shufflers. Sorry if that's your career. So I think that's something to consider. If your job can be outsourced, if you're a paper shuffler, can someone else do your job overseas? And it's something I've encountered in my career as well as an architect. I had a colleague at university. She started up a business where her junior staff would only do tiny little bit of markups and everything else will be done overseas. That's how she'd make money, a lot cheaper. Get in there. You need to be very competitive in the housing sector. I'd be competing against large firms in the city, in Brisbane, where they'd be sending all the work overseas and you just couldn't compete. Here, a small operation, and my fee would be double what other firms are charging because I'd be using locals to draft it. So that's just part of the challenges. So let's have a look at this. CBA moves 100 roles to India amid a worker shortage. Or is it really a worker shortage, or is it a capability and skills shortage? Do we not have enough people that have the skills and capabilities to do the jobs or fulfill the roles that CBA demands? I can't see CBA rocking up to the local Centrelink office, putting a thumbtack on the wall, and, any old Joe Blow turning up for a job. So, Commonwealth Bank said it will be moving around 100 roles from Australia to be based in India by March 2022. The jobs are mostly IT related. Remember, we're an innovation nation. We're meant to be this advanced innovation nation where our economic complexity goes down further and further. You know what? Let's have a look, honestly. Let's compare Australia to India here. Should have planned to. If I was an organized YouTuber, I would plan this beforehand. But no, I'm not. What am I doing here? Okay, we'll sign in. Now, we can compare. We should be able to compare two countries. Country to country. Okay, and we will do Australia and India. Let's see if this loads up. India, okay, we'll do that. And then we'll change, we're not the British Ocean Territory, we'll do Australia. To compare these two countries, here we go. So, India exports to Australia with a 30th export, 3.19 billion. Top product is refined petroleum. Exports from Australia to India, so 15.3 billion. We're exporting much more. They're our fourth biggest export destination. And our top product to India, coal. Now, their economic complexity is 44th in the world, 0.59. Ours is 79th in the world. And this is with the Observatory of Economic Complexity. If we bring up here the Harvard boys from the Harvard Atlas, they're ranking us 86th in the world. So the Indian economy is more complex and more advanced than the Australian economy. Okay? Just think about that. You've got people with all these warped, outdated preconceptions of, the third world, this and this. They're more advanced than we are in a lot of these developing countries. And India, India's got a space program and nuclear weapons, okay? So come on. Their GDP is 2.87 trillion. Their population growth is 114, where ours is only 1.4 trillion. and our population growth is 50.5. But here's the difference. Their GDP per capita is 2,100, where ours is 55,000. Ours is a lot higher. We're getting a lot more bang for our buck per population than India. India has a lot of social issues that they're still slowly overcoming, but economically, they're a much more advanced, sophisticated economy than Australia is, at least from an economic complexity perspective. So could that be why jobs are getting sent to India? So, most of these jobs are IT related, but a CBA spokesperson told Yahoo Finance that the bank will still have many technology-based roles still in Australia. I mean, that would suck if you're an Australian doing IT and wanting to get a job at the bank. It's all outsourced. How many people I've met in IT that just complain it's all sent overseas, it's all outsourced? You know, learn to code is the meme, but you're competing with the millions of people who are learning to code in India. We spent $1.8 billion on technology in the last financial year, and as part of our ongoing technology investment, we will recruit thousands of people over the next 12 months, the spokesperson said. We remain committed to having our customer-facing roles, okay? So when you ring it up, you're still talking to a local, but all the back of house is handled overseas. So, such as branch and customer call centers in Australia, and to supporting and investing in our people where they are located. Well, if your people are located in India, I mean, here's the thing. It's a competitive world, guys. We now have to compete on a global stage. If we want all the benefits of having access to the cheap and plentiful goods that we can get from overseas, the quality of life that we have now, the access to technology and equipment is much cheaper than it was in the golden days, of the 70s in Australia, guys. Seriously, how much cheaper are cars now? The only thing that's gone to the bloody moon are housing. The CBA spokesperson said moving the jobs offshore will help the bank operate longer due to the different time zones. The proposed shift of around 100 roles announced in July reflects the reality that we need global experience to deliver our strategy, the spokesperson said. And by having teams working in a different time zone, we can extend our operations window to both resolve issues and innovate. The bank will aim to retain all of the impacted staff should they wish to stay at the bank, though through reskilling and redeployment. So they're firing people. They're literally offshoring jobs. They're not just getting new roles overseas. They're sending the jobs overseas. Maybe they'll pay for you to go over to India. I mean, honestly, serious question. How many of you would consider, if you're here in Australia, going over to India to live and work? Could probably afford a house a lot cheaper. I know Indians who've come here to Australia and have sent the family back home because the quality of life is better back home than here. It's more affordable. The July Seek employment report found jobs in the IT and technology sector were one of the most in demand in Australia right now. Not only that, but other major banks have been struggling to fill positions with border closures limiting access to the international workforce. The CEO of ANZ, Shane Elliott, has encouraged Aussies to email him directly if they have a background in financial services and are interested in working with the bank. We're a people bank. We have to deal with real people out in the community. In particular, at the moment, a lot of these people are going through difficult times because of COVID. We want to boost our front line, and those are people who talk to customers every day, and people with life experience, a little bit older, are actually perfect for those roles. Well, there you go. So there we have it, everyone. CBA offshoring work. What's the solution and the takeaway to this one, guys? Well, let me get on my soapbox. Here we go. We're competing in a global world, everyone. There'll be people that are outraged and angry and think all the jobs should be kept in Australia. But guys, that's not how the world is. With technology, if your job can be done at home, it can be done at the home of anyone on the planet. Google are already cutting wages of people that are remote working. That's what's going to happen. But with that also comes a wealth of opportunities. You can work yourself on Australia on projects all over the world. You can get education from all over the world. You can access to consumer goods manufactured from all over the world. So it's a bit of a give and take. You can be outraged about it. There'll be people calling for tariffs and protections and all of these things to hamstring our own economy here. What we really need is an increase, a push, a drive, a political will to increase the economic complexity of Australia's economy. I would advocate for special economic regions where we reduce the government burden, we reduce the onerous workplace laws, we reduce other restrictions in these areas to allow parts of Australia to actually be competitive on a global stage. And then you reduce the burden you place on the citizens who choose to work and live in those areas. So then, they don't have to suffer the benefits. What do you think? Do you think it'll ever hold up? Do you think Australians are actually hardworking enough and willing to sacrifice enough? Or are we just a little too privileged? What do you think? We'll have to see, everyone. We will have to see. As always, thanks for letting me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan of the channel and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.